Spoken about yet is the effect on alcohol. So we've heard that the tax on a pint of beer is being cut by a penny, but the price of wine and spirits is to rise. And joining me now is Miles Beale, who's Chief Executive of the Wine and Spirit Trade Association. Miles, I think it's interesting. Let's get your reaction. What was your instant reaction when you heard the budget today?
Hi there. Well, good evening. Instant reaction was extreme disappointment. We had the biggest rises in almost 50 years in August 2023. And this is more of the same. I hope no one falls for this penny off the pint shtick. It's absolutely not true. Anyone running a hospitality venue has a whole raft of increasing costs. The idea that they then take a penny off the pint while they're trying to foot the bill for those is for the birds.
I guess there's a technicality there. You could argue over a technicality about what she was announcing today. I'm guessing, let's put the alcohol aside for a moment, because you represent lots of businesses. And one of the big headlines today was the increase for employers to pay national insurance contributions. How will that affect many people that you represent?
Well, look, it's yet another cost. I think this is part of the problem. If the government really was aiming at economic growth, it needs to encourage, support and incentivise businesses. And I think this budget has not done that for the hospitality sector in any way, shape or form. Most of my businesses are supply chain businesses. They've had the biggest increases in 50 years. They have another enormous set of increases coming up, RPI from 1st of February next year. And on top of that, if you sell wine, you have a much more complicated system. That means, for example, if you happen to like an Argentinian Malbec or an American Merlot or an Aussie Shiraz, your duty bill is going to go up by more than 50 pence on a bottle.
Do you think some of your businesses, some of the people that you represent, are going to go out of business because of this?
Well, it's unquestionably going to be worse for smaller businesses. So the smaller the business, the higher the costs and the tougher they bite. So I'm afraid we already had a lot of businesses in our membership really facing tough times, and today has made everything worse.
I'm guessing, Miles, were you expecting the news today?
That's a really good question. Look, I think the government had played their cards very close to their chest. I think we had particularly not expected an increase in excise duty, because the numbers tell us over the last 6 months, for the first time ever, revenue to the Exchequer is falling as a result of very high increases in August 23. So, no, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was in the Treasury's interest for its own revenue to at least freeze duty. I wasn't expecting a cut. It also would have been better for businesses and therefore for consumers as well. So I think they've shot themselves in the foot.
Going back to the original point that we were making about the penny off the pint, let's agree to disagree about the technicality of that. But why did you feel it was unfair that draft alcohol was given a more favourable announcement today than things that come in bottles?
Well, yes, it is unfair, but actually that's not my biggest complaint. And I think where you and I shouldn't actually agree to disagree. I mean, I think if you're running a hospitality business, if you see your business rate relief being halved, so that goes up. If you see national insurance contributions go up, if you see minimum wages go up, that is all additional costs to you. And the government's then trying to appeal over your head to consumers of one product in your establishment to say, oh, you'll get a penny off. They absolutely won't. Let's be clear, everything is going to get more expensive. Beer might get a bit less expensive in a pub than everything else, but that's it.
Miles, was there any light here today from your point of view?
No, I don't think there was much light. I think there's an enormous amount more gloom heaped on the gloom that was already expected. I think the only thing that we could possibly say is that there's a technical change where the Labour government is continuing to get rid of duty stamps, which makes it a little bit easier for spirits businesses to sell their wares. Other than that, it's all very depressing and gloomy, and I think the one thing that's massively missing is all that Rachel Reeves needed to do was not increase alcohol duty. It would have been better for the Exchequer, better for businesses in my membership, and better for punters, and she hasn't done it.
Miles, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us tonight on LBC News.
Thanks for having me on.
No worries. That is Miles Beale, Chief Executive of the Wine and Spirit Trade Association. The time is 7.